Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Doc.
Do you need medical...
I'm afraid I've contracted...
Not under my watch, Nurse.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working...
Dr. Reid. Dr. Swansea. I am Thoreau Strickland.
Please, could you tell me...
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reid. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you...
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work...
I'll give you some advice, but understand that none...
Of course, sir. And...
Goodbye, Dr.
Good evening.
Do you need medical...
Well, the proximity...
Don't take too many risks with your health, Mr.
And that is a good thing.
Please show me what...
Of course. It's locked.
Good evening, Nurse Brannick.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you require...
I will be fine.
Nurse.
I'll try, Doctor.
Goodbye, Nurse. Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doc.
Do you need an...
I'm afraid I do.
Our job brings us into contact.
That's easy for you to say, Doc.
I'd like to...
Wise choice, Doctor.
It's locked.
Get away from me! Don't touch me with your disgusting hands! Strangers are attacking me!
What? It's all right, sir.
Oh, a fellow Englishman. Thank you, sir. For a moment, I thought those bloody heathens had killed...
What are you doing here?
Yeah, it's a cesspool, but it's mine. I came to kill...
You're very lucky to be alive.
Yeah, filthy immigrants. Fuck.
You can find safety of sorts in Whitechapel. If you're quick and cautious, you'll be able to avoid the savages.
Was I that evil to deserve such punishment? My only regret is that no one will mourn me, for I have never been loved.
This is Braille. I need someone who can read this.
This is no place for you, sir. This one's mine! It's a leech! Kill it!
Oh my god!
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Weapon! I'll put it in you! More and more of these bloody leeches every night. Aye. The guards recruit more and more every year.
The mistress of the dark will drink.
Stupid beast!
Come and face your final fate.
The meat! We have to stop it!
locked, all right.
The safer places to be than here. It's one of them.
Here, I know it.
It's too fucking far. We have to stop it. It's too strong. Right, vermin! He's dead!
I cannot enter. It's locked, all right. Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail. First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
Fuck you all! Fuck it all! Stop it now, Albert, stop it!
I won't end up another drunk arsehole here in the streets. Not me.
What?
Shooting a boy in the middle of the street.
What? You saw what?
I'm Dr. Reid.
No. Look, I'm... Perhaps you could...
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole...
I have found a very interesting letter. Your son planned to prove his worth to the gang by stealing...
Oh, I see. So the little bugger thought he could use his dad to build a reputation.
The gang's recruiter was dead when I found him. Perhaps you should take better care of your son.
I love my Albert, sir. Believe me.
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he didn't deserve a public execution.
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that I'm sick in the head.
Me, I'll not die in some piss-stinking alley reeking worse than a week-old lavvy.
I'm not afraid anymore. I died in this trench a long time ago.
The wet boots will be proud of me.
Are you all right? If you've been hurt,
Name's Albert. Remember it.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crook?
Never heard of her. She's pretty.
What happened?
Hey, I didn't do anything.
Yes, you did.
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's...
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part.
I said sod off.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reid, by the way.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swan.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from
I don't like to talk about
competition?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam if you're...
Tell me, who intrigues you most?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives a...
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine.
The Swanborough cordial can be the answer to all your problems. As long as you have the money. When science fails you.
I cannot enter. It's locked, all right.
Come on, Barrett, you know the game. You pay for peace of mind. Can't you just look the other way this week, Joe? Come on, we can sort it out, right?
It's not my call, Barrett. You pay one way or another.
Please, Joe. How long have we known each other? We even used to be neighbours, for Christ's sake.
I'd prefer not to give you another beating, Barrett.
Welcome, sir. Please.
I am Dr. Reid.
Doctor? Interesting.
Right then. Show me what you have. Excuse me, sir.
Another journalist? I didn't answer.
I'm not a journalist.
A doctor, you say?
Really? But...
I'm Joe Peterson to some. But...
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around...
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help us.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants.
May I ask what you...
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more.
According to you...
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess you'll fancy...
This part of...
Totally.
Goodbye, Mr. Pete. Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reid, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me, then? Okay, then. Come on in. Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
So, may I...
I'm not bothered.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane?
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
How do you feel? Speaking of which...
What? My father is an idiot who makes idiot things.
Forgive my bluntness, young man.
Why should I? I never wanted...
You have a roof over your head?
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you...
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father knowing.
So that's why you stay at home all day?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reid.
Do you need any medical help, young man?
Yes, I do.
You'll feel better with this.
I'm not sure I'm happy with the idea of...
Goodbye, young man.
Even my dreams are soaked with glue.
It's locked, all right.
Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
So, I'm not bothered.
Death is so cold. I hoped it would be more meaningful.
The walls of your home will not protect you, for there is no protection against malevolence and trickery. You are blinded by your false faith, imprisoned by your...
Fair you little game you pay for peace of mind. Can't you just look the other way this week, Joe?
I cannot enter.
Swanborough cordial can be the answer to all your problems. As long as you have the money.
These are bad times. Bad times indeed.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid.
There is no Dorothy Crane.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to. It's locked. I will return later. I cannot enter.
The walls of your...
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reid.
A scientist?
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane?
I don't like the liberal ideas of...
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential.
Nuns should be the only women allowed.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the...
Have you any friends?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him...
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
What do you mean when you say that I am...
All scientists are entangled.
Quite a judgmental...
But you are seeking answer.
Well, I suppose I can...
As a doctor, you must be aware of the
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself.
I have heard in... Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that.
Really? Are you an artist?
I'm a poet, sir.
May I ask what you're doing?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure.
But are you not afraid?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity.
If you say so.
Thank you, Doctor. But...
Are you aware that your life...
But this is where I must be to feed...
If some misfortune...
Well, you, for a start.
I understand.
I don't care.
What are your thoughts?
Terrible, you say?
What are you talking?
Do you remember London before?
Peaceful.
Most people...
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott.
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the arid hunger.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox, the stripped humanity...
Vivid, of course.
Oh yes, the poignant distress.
I'll leave... Good evening.
And good evening.
You don't really make a living from your...
No, sir, I don't. I work...
Still?
With thanks to my parents, actually.
You seem embarrassed.
Someday I hope to proudly offer my first...
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott.
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to...
Do you not think it...
On the contrary, sir.
What can you tell me about...
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma.
I'll leave you. Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reid. I know what you're thinking. Tell me about Richard Nethercott. Melia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispenser. A stubborn and... I know you understand what I'm saying. Very well. Hello again, miss. Very well.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of...
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel.
Dr. Reid, the famous surgeon.
What is a journalist doing?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you.
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly disease.
If no one stops it, this epidemic could turn into a scourge. It may kill more people than the war.
Yes, this is another kind of war, but just as deadly. History will judge us.
Have you any...
I've had to run.
That science, it...
I can...
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice of you, Doc.
If you persist in...
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, Mr.
Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
Good evening, Mr.
This evening.
What's the matter?
Petersons are gone. All of them.
Why are you so affected by the...
Maybe because they were the only ones who knew me.
Do you have regret?
Too many to name just one, Dr. Reid.
Have you heard of a...
Nurse Crane?
Yes, she's a nurse, and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that.
That doesn't explain.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free.
As a merchant...
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war...
As a
Well, you mean...
Have you been...
No, but that's only because I...
Violence is in...
Yeah.
Where did this happen?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in...
How's business?
Well, what can I say? Business is about the same.
You only...
Old habit.
Right then. There's no one in. No one's there.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be for Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
Good evening, Mr.
And good evening to you too.
May I ask you a few questions?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not?
What can you tell me about
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
I'm looking for Dorothy
Crane.
What can you tell me about him?
Darius...
Not in...
Darius...
I'll leave...
You are blinded by your false faith.
Good evening, Doctor. Can I help you?
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispenser.
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of it.
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory...
Ah! Could it be...
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine...
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from...
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before...
He has no relative?
No. Except for that strange map.
Where can I find this Mr.?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel.
Goodbye, Mr. The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter. Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in. Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again.
Sir, wait. Stop this.
All right.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor.
I'm nothing like you.
Yes, you are.
I have to admit your words have If you want to talk to Dorothea...
We've not been formally...
I am Darius Petrescu. I'm here to keep snitches and spies away from Dorothea. And I also run this little...
So Dorothy's real name is...
Like myself and many...
She seems important.
More than you can imagine.
Did you refuse to publish...
Yes. His manuscript is as pompous as...
You could have told...
As a great writer recently...
Tell me everything you know.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Who is she, really?
She's not from around here.
You say she has no close...
Well, there's that awful poet who constantly...
Are you not worried?
She is as brave as she is tough.
Are you in love with Camellia, Mr.
Don't be stupid. If I had...
Tell me
I do not...
I know you fought for your country when it was occupied, Darius. Tell me more about it.
I know my days are numbered, and I...
But Romania escaped the grasp of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's a free country again.
But...
How did you meet Nurse Crane?
I'm her oldest friend in England.
You mean occupied Romania, don't you?
Really? Then perhaps you have more in...
Do you have any family left?
Who knows?
Don't be embarrassed, sir.
It's quite awkward to talk about our families.
This war won't last.
No. I have taught strength and determination to my sons and daughters. I'm an old, dying man who only has memories of better times to cherish.
Goodbye, Mr. It's locked.
Can you hear my voice? I need help!
What do we have here, nurse?
Patient Raz Van Vasily. High fever running on 3 days. Complaints of dizziness, muscle aches, and head pain. Diagnosed with influenza.
Treatment?
Aspirin and salicin for the fever and discomfort. Liquids for dehydration, but he's having trouble keeping even water down.
Thank you, nurse. Anything else I should know?
He did lose consciousness this morning, but he's never had convulsions like these.
He's not convulsing, he's choking. He's not getting any air. Scalpel! Hand me that scalpel!
What can I do, Doctor?
I need to perform a tracheostomy. Short pipe. That rubber tube will do. We're going to cut a passage for air through the neck.
Yes, Doctor. He's breathing again, but he's coughing up blood.
Internal hemorrhaging. I need to make another incision into the chest cavity to drain the fluids from the lung. Prepare another tube.
A thoracostomy? Doctor, we've nothing to fight the infection. We need an aseptic environment.
Don't question me, nurse. I need a drain. Now.
Yes, Doctor. He's still bleeding, Doctor. I'm losing his pulse.
The drain must have punctured the intercostal artery. There's too much blood.
Are you all right, Doctor?
I can't see. I have this, nurse. Allow me to finish the procedure alone. I need the room.
I'd prefer to stay and see this through. This is my patient, Doctor. I have needle and thread for stitching the wound.
Good. The stitches are holding. How's he doing?
We're losing him. We've lost his pulse. He's dying, Doctor.
Cardiac massage, now.
Cardiac... What? Are you making this up as you go along? We've lost the pulse. He's gone, Doctor.
Nurse, we did everything we could.
Truly? Everything you could. Is that how you'll report this in your log? Is this how the war went? Piling up one poor corpse beside the next?
This was not an influenza-induced seizure. I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
No. There was something more vile in these reactions. Something primitive.
There have been numerous reports of mental breakdowns caused by the fever that accompanies the flu itself, Doctor.
Yes, but... I'd best take some samples of the blood for analysis.
I doubt you're here to test my bedside manners. I suspect it was more than intuition alone that led you to us. So, how might I be of service, Dr. Reid?
I've come to put an end to this
Doctor, you think your warnings scare me? I've stolen and plied, blackmailed and lied, but what else am I to do?
You've convinced me of the sincerity of your actions and their noble justifications. But all the same, blackmail is a crime, and it will stop, Nurse Crane.
So, are you going to turn me over to the authorities?
Nurse Crane, there is no question that the work you've done here is extraordinary, but this dispensary is incapable of coping with the outbreak. It's only a question of days before the situation at hand will overwhelm us. I cannot allow it. It's my duty to put an end to this immediately.
I'm not ashamed. I did what was right. For in the end, I saved lives and you took them. But we had so much in common, Doctor. Don't you see that?
Oh, this one stinks already.
It's mine!
Get him with me! Take a breath of this! Shit! You'll pay for that! This one's back in the grave.
When science...
Good evening.
I'd like to see what kind of... I have this thirst for blood.
It's locked, all right. This is despicable. Human blood. Whoever left these marks did so deliberately. I can't believe I'm doing this.